Welcome, beautiful sisters, to today's masterclass, which I've been calling a couple different names, but essentially being able to hold space without holding it all. And I also like to use this distinction of holding versus carrying. So that's what we want to work on today. And this is really for the empaths of the group, the space holders who want to lead without being their system being blown out by the circle. Because I know that that's a huge concern. When we had our Rise breakout circles, what was that? A couple Mondays ago, last Monday, I can't even keep track of the time anymore. Last Monday, a week ago, there was a discussion about this. And I said, okay, hopefully I can answer that at the end of the call. And then I realized, no, actually, we have a full hour that we can go into this and talk about this because I think it is such a big topic for so many of the women who are in our community. So thank you for being here. Whether you're live with me, it's awesome to have a great group here live. And if you're watching the recording, hello, I'm Tanya Lynn. And if you don't know me, if you've never been in the space with me before, I am the founder of Sistership Circle and the creator of How to Lead Circle, which is our 12-week level 1 certification program, where over 1,000 women have become certified to really step into their feminine leadership and facilitate transformational circles. So today, this class, as I'm still letting people in, so I'm kind of multitasking off my notes and letting people in from the waiting room. This class is designed to support you in leading from the deeper place without depleting yourself, right? So to lead in the deeper place from power. And it's also a direct window into some of the like what you're going to actually be able to embody in How to Lead Circle. So I want to give you the taste of what it feels like to be held, supported, and trained in our program to lead powerfully without burnout. So that's my intention today, to give you as much value as I can, but also to invite you in because our doors are closing on Wednesday and we won't be running this program again this year. Typically, we run it twice a year. We're going to be taking September off. So this is kind of last chance and you're here for a reason. So let's co-create by stitching in. So if you can type into the chat, where are you calling from? And one word of intention. Why are you here? One word. And then we can see who's here and we can all feel like we're co-creating this space. So where are you calling from? And one word intention. To learn from the Sunshine Coast. Hi, Maria. Maria from Greece, learning as well. We love learning. Lifelong learners, right? Toronto Courage, receiving Canary Islands, learning, containing, sustaining, new knowledge, upgrading. Love it. Oh, love this topic. Abundance, motivation. Hi, Hazel. What else? What else, sisters? Who else is here? Reunite. Hi, Lynn. Yay. Embodiment. Wonderful. All right, beauties. Thank you. Thank you for stitching in here. And, I just love this global web of women from all over the world remembering the truth of who we are and coming together in global sisterhood. So this is just a testament of the power of this work, the power of circles, and also an affirmation that you are not alone. We are not alone. And sometimes we can feel super lonely on this path, right? As we feel like we're all of a sudden kind of speaking a different language and walking a completely different path than our families of origin, right? Or the people who we used to hang out with. And so, it's really important to be involved in community in this way, right? We have our big Facebook group with over 10,000 women, from all over the world who are all like-minded. It's a great place to connect. And also, when you step into How to Lead Circle, you are going even deeper into that sisterhood, really creating bonds over 12 weeks. So we're going to start by dropping into our bodies, because this is what this work is all about. If we want to shift from caring to holding space, we have to become more comfortable dropping fully into our bodies. And this is the space in your body where your deepest truth resides. So let's close our eyes, taking a deep breath in, and exhale slowly through the mouth, open mouth, and allowing that to go all the way down to your toes, and then feeling your sit bones in your chair. Can you arrive right here, right now? And so if you are doing something else, my invitation is to close the other browsers, turn over your phone, turn it off, allow yourself to actually be here and be present. Because part of the problem is that we're unable to be fully present, which creates the distraction and the overwhelm and the dissociation and all those things of when we are trying to manage a lot of energy. Can we just drop in right here, right now? Okay. Now we're going to do a body scan. And I want you to notice where you tend to carry others. Is it on your shoulders? Is it in your neck? Maybe your chest? Is it in your gut? So just observe and try to locate that place in the body where you tend to carry others, and to have no judgment about this, because we might go into judgment of, oh, there I go again, Hmm. Okay, now asking yourself, what would it feel like if I didn't have to carry that? If I didn't have to carry those people? If I didn't have to carry the weight of the world? Let the body show you. Let it whisper what it's been craving. And notice if there's a shift. Pay attention to if there's a shift. So here's the truth. You are not responsible for holding everything. You are not responsible for anyone but yourself. Unless I would make a side note, that unless you have kids that are under 18, yes, of course, we are responsible for them. And we are also teaching them how to become self-responsible by not taking them on and all of their things all the time. So we can let go of this belief that we are responsible for everyone else. We're not. You are responsible as a leader, as a facilitator, for creating the space where transformation happens without it consuming you. That is our intention and goal. That is the shift. I am not responsible for the people in the container. I am responsible for creating the container. Period. They're going to do what they do. It's not my responsibility. Notice how that lands. And this is one of the foundational shifts that we make inside of How to Lead Circle. It's not just about leading the circle, it's about embodying the new way of holding space that's not going to drain you. Okay, so opening your eyes, and I want you to look around your room for a moment and try to find, well, you're not trying to find, you're allowing your eyes to land on something that's pleasant to look at. Finding that thing, just taking a moment to connect with that pleasant sensation in the body. Hmm. And I'd love to have you just check in for a second. So placing a word, typing a word into the chat of what you're noticing so far. Presence, grounding, free and easy, spaciousness, tingling, owl. Ooh. Can I just show you my owl? She's right here. Breathing slowed. Awesome. Good awareness. Activating my throat. Yeah, Laura's got an owl collection helping her feel wise. Yeah, right. So that could be an anchor, right? So I'm kind of giving you this tool of you can when you're getting overwhelmed, bring your awareness outside of you of something that's pleasant to look at, right? So I've got a goddess statue. Laura's got her owl, or even looking outside at the trees if you have some greenery outside, right? But that can help to shift the energy when you start to feel overwhelmed. Oh, I love that someone just took Jane, thank you for the beautiful picture there. Yes. Okay, we're still letting ladies in. Oh, Jane, I love that you're here. You were just texting on a Facebook Messenger. Okay. Oh my gosh, Diane. Diane says that my last name Sova means owl. How cool is that? We got lots of owl energy. Okay, so we're gonna move to our next part here, which is about naming the pattern. And this pattern is what becomes the empath's struggle, right? So, what might happen to you as a space holder is that you go into one of these patterns. I'm going to name 4 of them. Okay. And then we're going to see which one resonates, and it might be all of them. So, the first one is over merging. So, this happens when we're absorbing everyone's emotions and feeling overwhelmed from just the flood. It's a flood of emotions that overcome us, right? So that's number 1. Number 2 is over giving, which is where we take on responsibility for everyone's healing in the circle. Or we're just, everyone's my responsibility. Number 3, lack of boundaries. So this is not knowing where you end and the group begins. You could also look at this in relationship, right? So I don't know where I end and my husband begins, or I don't know where I end and my kids begin, right? So how we do one thing is how we do everything. So and we can of course shift that, right? Like sometimes that's not always true, but like I can see that how I'm mothering or how I'm showing up in my relationship could also be how I'm facilitating, right? So that could be a clue if you haven't started leading yet. And then number 4 is unconscious nervous system activation. So your body will go into shutdown from all the energy in the room. So we can call this shutdown. We can say you go frozen. This can mean you're dissociating, you're just kind of checked out, right? Like This is a pattern, and I would say that we've learned these patterns from growing up. We learn these from childhood. Perhaps there was something in it that these were strategies to receive love, right? So we overmerged into mom to receive love, or we were overgiving to little sister to receive love. We didn't have boundaries to receive love, right? So it's like, how can I be seen and heard? How can I find my sense of self-worth? We develop these patterns. So the truth is that we don't actually need to guard ourselves. There's a lot of work I get around spiritual hygiene and, making sure that you're protected. But I would say, here's my opinion, that we actually have to learn how to hold the energy correctly. So your sensitivity is not the problem. We need some training around this. I'm a highly sensitive person. And actually, the more I've done this work, the more sensitive I have become. But I know how to hold it. I know how to work with it. I know how to not take it on as my own. So sensitivity, if you're sensitive, awesome. There's so many gifts in that. And really for you to own your gift of sensitivity versus thinking that there's something wrong with you. There's not. We've been conditioned to think that our sensitivity means that there's something wrong with us. That's what our culture tells us, but really it's not. So what we want to step into is leading with sovereignty and sustainability. Now, a really powerful resource here of where I got to really see my pattern is Stephen Kessler's 5 personality patterns. And I did an interview with him on my podcast. So you can find that. You just type in Stephen Kessler. I mean, we talk about this all the time. In fact, we go into it in How to Lead Circle because it's just so powerful. But what I learned is I'm a compensated merger. And I run this pattern. So I try to merge, and if that doesn't happen, then I'll compensate that with the aggressive pattern, right? Where I'll fight. But in learning my tendency to merge, I got to then start to become aware of where I'm absorbing other people's energy, where I don't have my lack of boundaries, where I don't know the difference between you and me, right? And so I had to actually learn that. And I learned that through Circle. So let's put these in here. And then if you can tell me which one feels like number one. And if you have all of them, that's probably, I mean, that would be pretty accurate if you feel all 4 of these. But in the chat, which one feels like the hardest or the biggest pattern for you? Lack of boundaries, nervous system activation, overgiving, overmerging. Yeah. Great. So awareness is the first step, is becoming aware that I have this pattern. Doesn't mean anything's wrong. It's a way that I've learned how to cope. It's a way that I've learned how to survive. These patterns are designed to essentially get something, right? We use these patterns. So we just get to become aware and then start to learn different ways of managing energy. Okay, so now let's talk about the shift. And I've got 3 keys for you today. And these 3 keys are essential to holding space without holding it all. Okay. And so after I go through these, then we'll do a couple hot seats to actually work on this. So if you're thinking, oh, I might want to do a hot seat, I'm just kind of giving you a heads up now. You could prepare yourself to raise your hand. So the first key is the energetic boundaries of joining without merging. Okay. So holding space doesn't mean absorbing, it means becoming the container, right? So I'm responsible for the container. I'm not responsible for the women in it. They're responsible for themselves. So we're going to do an exercise here where I want you to imagine two circles. And even if you want to create two circles with your hands so you can visually see this, I'm a visual learner. And I want you to put these next to each other. And I want you to see the first one as you. You are the first circle. And the other is the group. Okay. Where do you end? Let me let these ladies in. Hold on a second. Where do you end and where does the group begin? So you could kind of play with this, and even maybe you want to link them and then pull them apart and just feel. You can kind of play with the difference here of, oh, I'm going to make, here's my two circles. I'm going to make them all as one. Okay, now I'm going to separate them. I'm going to pull them apart. So feeling the difference between your energy leaking out or merging like this and holding the powerful sovereign field. So your power comes from knowing what's yours to hold and what isn't. So the boundary is important. And sometimes just playing with this energy, you could also kind of put two rocks. Here, I've got you could use two circles, right? And play with bringing them together and bringing them apart. Here's me, here's the group. Coming together, moving apart. So sometimes this awareness of having a physical representation and feeling the difference, and then just kind of noticing that. We don't need to rush this, but sometimes that's what happens. We put them together real quick. We rush it. What if I slowly bring us apart? What if I slow it down? And what would that do in my facilitation if I slowed everything down? If I'm feeling overwhelmed, letting people in here, if I'm feeling overwhelmed, most likely it starts to speed up. If I could slow it down and become present to the separation here, yes, we're connected. Yes, we can be right next to each other. But I don't need to bang them together. So one of the things that we do in How to Lead Circle is talk a lot about boundaries and understanding our needs and integrating this where we're not taking it on. And one of the ways that we do that is the beam, right? How often do we want to respond to someone else and give feedback and like get in there with them? The beam is literally the physical representation of joining without merging. I'm acknowledging you, but it's not mine, it's yours. I'm acknowledging you. I don't have to get in there with you on that, right? Okay, our second key is around nervous system regulation, and it's to stay present in intensity. And this is where so many women freak out, right? Someone's going to get triggered, someone's going to have a big emotion, and I'm not going to know how to handle that intensity, right? So we're anticipating that we're going to freak out and we're going to be overwhelmed by that intensity. Which, if you were in a volatile household as a kid, yeah, of course, especially as a little being who was around yelling or fighting or any type of just intense emotional energy. If your mother was very volatile in her emotions, yeah, of course it's going to be really hard to stay present in that intensity, right? So this is really what we need to learn is it's not about I can't handle it, I can't be with it. It's can I actually train my nervous system to become regulated in the face of intensity, that I actually have more capacity for it and to not be completely blown out. Now, I have really struggled in the past with my my whole system getting blown out. And what I learned from like my human design is I have only like two defined centers in my body. So I am just like this empty space, just, you know, not defined at all. And so it's really easy for me to just merge into other people's energy. So it's actually learning how to regulate your nervous system. The best facilitators do not avoid emotion. They know how to stay grounded when things get big. That is the key. So we can go back to that first exercise, and I'll repeat this because some of you came in a little bit later. But how are we going to ground? We use orienting. Orienting is because when we start to get overwhelmed, we might start to collapse or go in, right? Can I actually move my awareness out and start to orient around the room? And so if there is a big emotion going on in the room, then we could actually have the whole group start to orient. So let's orient. Let's look out the window. Let's find something pleasant to look at in the room. Just take a look around. Let's take our focus off of the screen or off of what's going on here. Let's actually just take a look around. Slow everything down. Take that awareness off of this to let me actually just get out of my own head here, get out of my own intensity, and start to bring my awareness out. And this is one way that we can stop ourselves from collapsing, because collapse is what happens when we get really overwhelmed, right? So we can feel our feet in the ground, become aware of our feet, become aware of the strongest point in the body, which for me is the quads, but also the feet. And I start to feel my power in that. And then breathing into the belly and finding that one pleasant thing to look at in my room. So when we can have our nervous system start to feel safe again, we attune to each other's nervous systems, right? So if I can regulate and I could take myself out of a really high activated state and I can relax by finding something pleasant to look at, whether it's my goddess statue or looking out at these beautiful trees, right? Or just taking my focus off of there and looking around. The whole circle is actually co-regulating with me. The whole circle is mirroring your nervous system. It is incredible, the power of our nervous systems. Absolutely incredible. So by you starting to find that place within you, everyone else also gets to breathe. Okay, key number 3, somatic awareness. And here is where we want to start to track what's yours. You're not meant to hold it all. But to lead well, you need awareness of what's yours and what isn't. And this is hard. I hear this all the time. I don't know what's mine and what's not mine, right? So we can do an energy check-in and we could track ourselves. So before a circle, what am I bringing in? And then after a circle, what energy am I carrying that doesn't belong to me? And I'm going to put this into the chat because this should be a mantra. This should be like one of your rituals that you do after a circle. What energy am I carrying that doesn't belong to me? And maybe you're going to get some intuitive hit of like, oh, that's not mine. Or maybe you feel something, right? And then we get to go and do something to release, whether that's taking an Epsom salt bath or whether that's just shaking and moving the energy. Or maybe that's just crying. Maybe that's one way that you can release the energy. Or, this might be kind of edgy, but maybe you're just going to go and have sex or use your vibrator and have an orgasm to release the energy, because that could be something that may appeal to some of you. But there's all kinds of ways then that we can say, this is no longer mine. Maybe you're going to pull your own cord, pull that cord out of yourself, right? Or even just I release just the words, I release everything that doesn't belong to me now. Give back to sender. Right? So now we get to distinguish. And then in the circle, we can track ourselves. We can track what's going on in me as I'm listening. And maybe you want to start to just do things to calm yourself, right? Hand on your own shoulder, holding yourself, petting your vagus nerve, right? There's all kinds of different somatic techniques that we can use to calm ourselves. Mine is like I love to just rub like this on my quads because it's like, oh, I'm connecting with one of my power centers, and just doing this I found is really, really helpful for me. So we can start to track and regulate ourselves. Tracking and clearing. And in How to Lead Circle, that's one of the big things that we're doing is clearing, learning how to clear. Okay, so we got a little bit of time. Let's do a hot seat here of someone who is either over merging, over giving, lack of boundaries, unconscious nervous system activation. Doesn't matter. Who'd like to be in the hot seat? You can raise your hand. Maria, your hand was up first. Hi. Okay, you could come off of mute. There you go. All right, talk to me.
You want me to talk?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have the what is it called? It's called the critic. Yeah, I have I don't know if it fits into all of those, but that's the strongest thing that I have
Mm-hmm. What
is
did it-
I mean, I said taking responsibilities for everyone's healing, but what actually is that I imagine people's criticism of me.
you
That's what
and
that's
their
yeah,
criticism?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can, some based on what they're saying in the circle, I imagine I, you know, I I imagine their criticism.
Yeah. Okay. So where are you feeling that in the body?
Um, how am I feeling that in the body? Mhm. Maybe in the throat.
In the throat. Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. What's happening to the throat?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of I don't know what's happening in the throat, can you?
Okay. So let's tie this
But the
to,
chest, actually, the chest and kind of a bit the
yeah.
lungs.
Yeah. Yeah. So is it feeling contracted like you can't breathe? Maybe it's
Well, I felt a little bit more of a breathe, opening up a bit more, actually. I felt opening up more. Yeah.
okay.
Mm.
So let's tie this to the over responsibility, right? And I could kind of see this connection here.
Yeah.
You're
I've got,
feeling responsible for everyone in the circle. And
and
so,
I think it's a feeling of being attacked, you know? That's what
well,
I'm, that's how I'm imagining, that's how I'm feeling. I'm imagining that. It doesn't necessarily mean they're attacking me, but I'm sort of reading it as I'm being attacked, you know? They're all criticizing me. It's an attack.
yeah. And so
Under attack.
what are you responsible for then?
Yeah, so I suppose it's kind of like over merging, isn't it? It's sucking, absorbing, over
Hmm.
absorbing. Yeah. So it's not putting me the distance between me and, and them kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so they're attacking you. And what are they, why are they attacking you?
Um, well, they're not.
Well, okay, but your imagination is that
But
they're
that's how it feels. It feels like I'm very vulnerable and I'm under attack, That's how I
under,
feel. So it feels, yeah.
yeah, you're under attack and they're all criticizing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And is there something that you're saying about yourself?
Um, well, who do I think I am?
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are doing this sort of thing, that kind of thing?
Yeah. Okay. What happens to your body when you say, who do you think you are, and you're feeling attacked?
Um, I get a tingle, nervous whole body
Body. Yeah.
system
Yeah.
tingle.
Okay. So I'm just going to pause for a second. So I'm actually feeling something. I just felt myself swallow,
Mm.
right? So I just felt something in my throat, and I can almost feel like this shrinking in my own body, right? So I can immediately, as soon as I start to track that within myself, I'm like, wait, this might not be mine. We're talking about Maria. I'm having a physical sensation here happening because I know that I merge. Of course, I'm feeling something, right?
Mm.
Okay, so as soon as I catch myself and I start tracking myself, I bring that awareness, and then I want to do something to help myself regulate. So maybe I want to actually move my shoulders back, or I want to take a breath. Maybe I want to have a forced breath, right? And then I could slow it down and pause and allow my system to settle first. And maybe I even want to look around for a second. Okay, I'm going to
Mm.
take myself. So it's like, ooh, I could start merging into her, right? Pulling back, and I'm going to orient out my window for a second. And maybe I even want to shift if if my body is literally like face on with her, maybe I actually want to shift it slightly away. So I'm not taking that on because it's not mine, right? Now I don't know. Oh, is it hers? Is it mine? I don't know. But you know what? I'm going to regulate my system here so that I'm not taking it on.
Yeah.
All right. And then I could say, Maria, let's just take a breath.
Mm.
You want to take a breath with me?
Yeah.
And let's find a place where you feel safest in your body. One point in your body that feels safe for you. Where'd you go?
In my pelvis.
In your pelvis. That's where it feels safe?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's that feel like, that little safe spot? Is there a sensation?
It feels strong
Yeah, strong.
and um, uh, impenetrable. Nobody can get in there. I'm safe there.
Hmm. Okay, great. Okay, so
Mm.
I want you to imagine that spot in the pelvis that feels strong and safe and just like a force field. And I want you to imagine radiating that energy up and out all over. Feel your whole body becoming strong, like this force field. I'm seeing this force field. Feel your power growing from that point in the pelvis all the way up to your shoulders, all the way down to your toes. And what are you noticing?
A beam,
A beam.
light.
Yes.
Yeah, a beam of light.
How does that feel?
Yeah, that feels pretty. That feels good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and also that it feels protective.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
protected. Well, that's a strong protective force. Yeah,
Yeah.
what is it? You know,
Okay. So I want
yeah.
you to imagine that this whole circle, there's a circle of women around you, and I want you to feel that like they're attacking you. And what would happen if you beamed that light towards each one of them? And maybe you even like turn and face each one and beam them. And what starts to happen in the circle as you beam that light at them?
Oh, everybody will relax.
Yeah. So feel them relaxing and feel yourself relaxing. And what's happening? I just felt myself breathe.
Yeah, and stillness, a stillness, and
Yeah. Yeah, stillness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt that within myself.
Mm,
So the thing is that the nervous system actually doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality.
mm,
So we can imagine this thing that feels like it's attacking us, and we can
yeah.
imagine doing something in our mind's eye, whether it's beaming light or saying something or giving it a hug or whatever to dissipate that, to take the charge out of it. And the nervous system is literally being retrained and regulated because it does not know the difference between real life and imagination. So that's one way in which we can do some of these things. We can set a boundary in our imagination.
I've got a photograph when I was 20 something, 21,
Uh-huh.
and it's a picture of me holding a mirror,
Mhm.
and there's light shining off the mirror. That's quite a nice. That's a good. There's a light reflecting like a beam reflecting off this mirror.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a good
yeah.
image to have. Yeah. Mm.
Ah, let's be Maria. Thank you, Maria. All right. Any insights, ladies? Go ahead and put them into the chat. What are you noticing? Anything happening for you? Let's just take a moment to just tune into reflections. Plenty. Taking control. Hmm? Powerful, and I felt it. Yeah. Empowered and release. Great. It showed me how not to jump in and take responsibility. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Maria feels to be more in alignment with her needs. Yeah, exactly. I have options. One of the biggest shifts that we can make is noticing where we want to jump in and take responsibility for someone else and not doing it. And beginning to retrain ourselves by saying, I am not responsible for them. They're going to do what they do. They're going to react how they react. I am 100% responsibility for myself. I am 100% responsibility for the container that I hold, but I am not responsible for the people in it. There's so much relief that comes with this awareness. There's so much power that comes with this stand because we're carrying so much weight by thinking that we have to take responsibility for them, which then leads us to trying to fix. And in Circle, we're not here to fix anyone. We're here to create a space of acceptance and non-judgment. And the true healing happens there, not with trying to fix. And so when you notice that you're trying to fix, then you get to catch yourself and have awareness of, oh, there I go, trying to fix, trying to convince. Where am I trying to convince? Convince, fix, change. And I get to step into holding the space of acceptance and allowing the circle medicine to do its work. So pressure is off of me, right? Let the circle medicine do its work. I am holding the container for it. And I'm doing that by holding boundaries, by having agreements, by being in my own integrity, by regulating my own nervous system, right? All of that. And yes, it's in life. It's not just circle, but that's what we learn is that circle is life, life is circle. There is no separation here. It is the circle of life. Yeah, I love that. How do you not take responsibility when you are aware of not taking responsibility, but feel responsible for the energy of it? Yeah, not taking responsibility when you are aware of not taking responsibility, but still feel responsible for the energy of it. Why do you feel responsible, Hazel?
As I was listening to Maria and just sort of the energy shift, it's that awareness of not being responsible for other people's reactions and not stepping in. I've got that now. But the energy or what someone else might be feeling and kind of spreading around, I think I still feel very responsible for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, example would be like that they're impacting the circle and they're impacting everyone.
Yes.
And so therefore it's your responsibility since it's your container.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we get to set boundaries of what, you know, might need to like what's okay and what's not. And this is where our agreements come in. So if someone's hijacking the circle because they're interrupting, then we have to set a boundary around that, right? And we should put an agreement in to begin with so that that person that isn't hijacking. So we do need to step in because we're holding the container, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, can I guide the energy according to the agreements here? And when do I need to step in and say, okay, we need to move on, or, we can't have you interrupting, right? So there's a way in which I have to set the boundary. Can you see that? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
Thank you.
plays out in a lot of different examples.
Hmm.
And guess what? We're going to make mistakes. And we're going to attract people in who are there for our healing and development, our growth and development. So there was a type of woman who I kept calling in who was disruptive. And I had to really take a look at my life of what is she mirroring?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I get to do my inner work around that of why do I keep attracting this person? Because there's something that's incomplete within me. It's not her fault. She's the messenger. What's my message that I need to get and to work on within myself? So again, I'm not responsible for her, but I am responsible for me and what's happening within me that I'm getting triggered by this type of person. And they just keep coming to every circle. Like I just keep having this energy in my circle. So that happened where, yeah, I had to do some really deep work and be like, I am a no. And I actually know that woman's energy before she even comes in. And I don't pay attention. There was a really bad situation once, but now I know. And I was like, okay, no, I'm done with that. And I know I need to do deeper nervous system work around this because this is so deep. Okay. Lynn, you're off mute. Did you want to say something?
Oh, I was going to type something, sorry. But yes, how do you okay, so in a situation where that woman's energy affects the whole group,
Mhm.
how can you counteract that?
Yeah, well, we have to regulate the whole group, right? We get to use withholds. We get to look at where she's not feeling safe. Is there something that she's needing to settle and make her system feel safe, that she's not having the reaction that's then rippling, right, to the whole group? Yeah. And so this is, this is what can come up in How to Lead Circle that we then actually get to deal with and work with and heal in real time. It's almost like whatever the thing is that you're really needing, most likely will come up in the program. And it's all for our growth and development, which is what's so amazing about the circle medicine. Okay. I'm just reading a couple things here. Okay, yeah. And we're almost at our hour here. Can you expand on what a withhold is? So a withhold is a tool that we have in How to Lead Circle of a way of communicating triggers, a way of communicating a charge in a respectful and regulated way that's actually creating more love and affinity in the group than pulling the group apart. And it has to be taught in a way. I can't just teach you the withhold tool right now. Like this, it's week 3 of How to Lead Circle, because there's so much that has to actually lead up to teaching the withhold tool and then being able to then use it effectively. And it's something that you then develop. Literally, it takes the whole program to really learn. Most people are uncomfortable with it, right? Because withholds, like we withhold things because we're afraid of speaking them, right? We withhold our feelings because we are afraid of the reaction. So we actually have to create the container to be able to then effectively deliver them without the repercussion. Yeah. But it's powerful. You're welcome, Heather. Okay. So I want to say something here about the container, and that as a leader, you need a container too. And this is what I have really put my feet in the ground with my husband as well, because I am always in circle. I am always in a circle for myself because I know the power of that and I know I need to be held. For the past decade plus, I have always been in a circle if I'm leading circle. There's no way I'm leading circle if I'm not actually in my own circle. And I've applied this to my marriage too, where I said, Brent, we cannot be building what we're building if we're not in a container. We must be supported because what we're up to is really big. And why are we thinking that we have a team of different people doing different things, but why do we not have someone holding space energetically and emotionally for us? The best facilitators are the most supported ones. You cannot hold everyone else if you're not also being held. This is really understanding what circle is all about. We are not just here to give. We have to become good receivers as facilitators. If you are saying to yourself, I can only show up this certain way. I need to make sure that I'm able to give my all. Well, are you receiving it all as well? Like, it's both. We really have to embody the energy of giving and receiving and understanding that they are one and the same. And that if we are always in an output of always holding space, but we are really bad receivers, we've kind of missed the point of circle. So I know that I need circle because I need to be receiving just as much as I'm giving. Otherwise, burnout. You want to talk about depletion and burnout? If you're not in a circle while you're leading circle, of course you're going to be burned out. Your circle is the place where you get to receive and you get to fill up. So too many women think that they need to be the strong one, but true leadership comes when you let yourself be supported. And that really is the foundational piece of How to Lead Circle and why it is so critical even if you've started leading some circles already, it's the place for you to be held and supported. It's the space for you to build the capacity when you're afraid you don't have it. And it's the place for you to have your sisterhood of facilitators doing the same work as you, right? Who totally get what you are going through. Because the women in circle don't necessarily get what you're doing, right? And there's other coaches out there who really don't get what you're doing in circle. Being in a circle of facilitators or women who are becoming facilitators, stepping into their facilitation is so powerful. And that is what you get in How to Lead Circle, right? So you're going to learn how to lead these transformational circles without burning out. You're going to be learning how to regulate your nervous system, and you're going to be having coaching and tools and community so that you can really root into your power. And when you are supported in this way, then you're going to be able to support others more powerfully. Yeah, we got some of you who are already in the program. So excited. Wow, we had a call. We had our bonus call earlier today, and I'm just like, unbelievable. The caliber of deep listening and just the gifts that these incredible women are bringing. I'm so excited about all of you. So if your body is saying, yes, I want that support, right? And you've been afraid of not having the capacity, then this is what How to Lead Circle is designed to hold you through. And we're going to walk with you every single step. It's a step-by-step program. It's a journey that we get to go on, and we get to help you feel prepared and grounded and capable, and teaching you how to lead powerfully without the burnout or the self-doubt. So quick logistics. Yeah, Leah, I'm so excited for you to start. Hazel was in the program. So registration closes in 2 days on Wednesday. Then we start our circles on Monday. So basically you have a small circle that you're going to meet with once a week for an hour and 45 minutes. We basically have 90 minutes of circle followed by a hot seat or love seat, sport seat, whatever you want to call it, for 15 minutes. Everyone gets one. You're going to be with your group for 12 weeks. The times are Monday, 4 p.m., Tuesday, 7:30 a.m., and Thursday, 11:30 a.m. That's all in Pacific time. So you have to use time zone converter to see what California time is compared to your time. And you could go to sistershipcircle.com/how-to-lead-circle with dashes. Here it is. And yeah, we hope that you'll be with us, because this is the only time that we're running the program this year. It's like, oh, I'll do it next time. No, that's a year from now. You're here now for a reason, right? Now is the time to receive the support. Now is the time to lean in and be in this absolutely incredible, deep, real sisterhood. Because that's the thing, right? Like, if we want to train our capacity, we want to train our nervous systems to calibrate to real and authentic sisterhood, we need to experience that for 12 weeks with these women from all over the world who are absolutely incredible with these amazing gifts. You deserve to be in that. All right, beauties. Thank you. I hope to see you. What do you guys think about doing these master classes once a month? I'm like super excited. I have absolutely loved the one I did last week. I want to redo it. I don't know. I felt like, I don't know. I'm going to redo that one. It was about money and invitations and sales. I really liked it, but I feel like I want to do a redo on it before I post a recording. This recording will go out, and I think I'm going to do this once a month because it's fun for me. Activating for you. All right, beauties. Have an amazing rest of your day. See you in How to Lead Circle. Mwah.